And now we are joined over the phone by Dr. Hassan Wagih, Professor of International Relations at Al-Azhar University. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Dr. Hassan, as we've just seen the report on President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's visit to 4 Arab Gulf countries, how do you see the keenness of the President on visiting the brotherly Arab Gulf countries at that critical historic moment?
Yeah, that was a very, very courageous move on the part of the President and on the part of the Egyptian diplomacy, who's very active to de-escalate the situation and is trying sincerely to put a stop on this war and to prevent any further escalations. Of course, it is historic and it is unprecedented, and it was a risk-taking to go through these fire zones with your plane and try to do this is an extremely important message that would tell our Arab brothers we are here to stay together. And also it is very important for the entire globe, where the whole world is waiting for effective mediation, and Egypt has the potential of playing that role effectively, inshallah.
So, sir, how does Egypt look to the concept of national security between Cairo and the Gulf countries in light of the recent regional escalations?
Actually, it is very important to understand that the Gulf countries' security is an integral part of Egypt's security, and that is not a new thing. It's an old thing, and it is supposedly to be known by every party involved in politics in the world. So I think that the move is very telling about how Egypt is moving towards Arab brothers and also towards Arab security at large. The Egyptian security is in the central part of that security.
So, Dr. Hassan, could you please shed more light on the forms of political and diplomatic support Egypt is providing to the Gulf countries during this critical phase?
Actually, I think that there is a lack of effective mediation, and fires are being opened and targeting economic, and you know what's happening today. This is not only a regional thing. If you look at it, you can see that this war has sent shocks rippling across the globe. It impacted everyone on the 4 or 5 continents. Prices of gas, prices of fertilizers, logistics of things like that. I think this is a very international crisis. Maybe unprecedented in its scope and its impact.
And sir, how does Egypt create a balance between its support for the Gulf states and at the same time preserve regional stability?
The word is political wisdom. The whole world has witnessed that the Egyptian leadership is demonstrating a real deep political wisdom in previous crises, and this crisis is a continuation of that situation. And you have seen that the entire world has already gathered in Sharm el-Sheikh holistically. No one was not there and agreed to the Egyptian role and the Egyptian political wisdom, and every party really responded and participated in that gathering. I think that's a very important sign, and Egypt is continuing its role, effective role. Hopefully it will work out, inshallah, for everyone.
And sir, what is the role Egypt can play within the framework of the joint Arab action to boost the security of the Gulf?
Yes, I think that Egypt's role is very important because this is a very compound crisis. It is unprecedented, when it is having geography, it has identity, it has religious background, prophecies, in addition to interest and the economy and to the ordinary things and dimensions that took place in any crisis. So I think it's very complicated and it's very difficult to control. Like when you are talking about three agendas associated, instead of who is targeting who and who is striking at who, there are three agendas. The Israelis have this from the Nile to the Euphrates. Iran has the absent imam. There are a group of Christian Zionists all over the world who are really supporting the a religious prophecy. So I think that Egypt is very important to play a role in dealing with these very complicated agendas, in addition to the core points of the ordinary agenda that took place in any crisis. So the crisis here is overridden with all these elements. This is why Egypt, with its composition, its cosmopolitan nature, its history, it should demonstrate that, inshallah, we will be able to handle all these very complicated agendas.
And sir, how important is Egyptian Gulf coordination in facing the threats linked to the navigation security in the Arabian Gulf?
Of course, as we have already mentioned, that it is a historic thing that Egypt and the Arab Gulf countries are having one system when it comes to regional security. So I think this is the move of Egypt is within this kind of being part and parcel of it.
So, sir, also U.S. President Donald Trump warned that Iranian power plants would be targeted if Tehran failed to fully open the Strait of Hormuz to all shipping within 48 hours. And also the Revolutionary Guard said they were determined to respond to any threat at the same level in terms of deterrence. So, sir, how do you see this escalation?
I hope that through Egypt mediation and through the role of the mediator is trying to intervene in trying to open the eye of each one that mutual threats like that will never work out, and everyone should be calm and should wait a little bit and try to understand. And I think that there are 6 points in each agenda that should be on the table. It is not. It shouldn't be on the media. It shouldn't be in the social media. It shouldn't be fiery words and blunt threats. Blunt threats will never work out with all these complicated agendas. So I hope that the wisdom of the other parties are very needed, and I think that opening their eye to a possible negotiating solution should be very important. And I think the Egyptian diplomacy is exerting all efforts in that direction, because when you are talking about that, you are talking about saving the world, saving everyone, because this zero-sum mentality and the blunt threats will increase the situation and it will get it from bad to worse. I hope that we will have a stop on that, and I hope that there are other power in the world that should help the mediator to play the role by good listening, by strategic listening, by strategic patience. These threats should be stopped for a while, and let us give diplomacy a chance.
So, sir, also the Revolutionary Guard on Monday retracted earlier threats to desalination plants in the region, which are crucial for providing drinking water. How do you read this? Actually,
I think that, let me say, unfortunately, this is crazy. You shouldn't do that. This again, we have to work on in restoring international law. International law and the humanitarian international law should be there. The Egyptian diplomacy is raising that flag very high, because the peoples are not supposed to pay a tough price. You are talking about getting millions of people impacted in a very negative way, very inhuman way. I think we should abstain, all of us, from doing that. and there shouldn't be such a threat from the very beginning. But again, when we are saying that there should be intervention for good listening, opening eye, opening ear, that this will never work out for anyone in the world.
So, sir, if we talk about the economic impacts of the Israeli-Iranian war in light of the current tensions and the impact of closing the Strait of Hormuz and the price of energy and supply chains globally, how do you read the situation?
I think that one of the most important things is, you have scenarios of continuing diplomacy, you have scenarios of wars, exchanging of further moves. You have like 5, 6 scenarios the whole world is talking about. But I think from my own point of view, modest point of view, is that if Hormuz is open for navigation, this would make everyone calm. And then let us negotiate agendas. I hope that the parties will work on something very practical and they go for ending of the, come up with a ceasefire and opening with Hormuz with a collective action so as not any party would feel that their faith is destroyed or is impacted. I think faith is very important because there is a very important cross-cultural communication dimension that faith should be kept. Let us see from previous lessons. In 1973 crisis, faith was saved because people became much more mature to stop that war and go for the negotiating table. In human missile crisis, faith was very important. Let me remind the world that the solution came by a very good speech by Kennedy and another speech by Castro, by Khrushchev, and I think that all of them made a speech that they have won something. And I think the situation is very similar. No one is winning and no one is losing in the full sense of the word. So I think that let us try to keep the faith and try to calm down and let the whole world understand we are dealing with history agenda, geography agenda, identity agenda, in addition to the dimensions of the crisis, the complicated dimensions. So I think that Egypt diplomacy will try to make ears much more open, eye much more open for these realities of cross-cultural communication challenge, in addition to dealing with the core of the situation, and let negotiation take its pace, and let the whole world breathe back.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Hassan Wagih, Professor of Political Sciences at Al-Azhar University. Thank you, Dr. Hassan, for being with us, and short break, and we'll be back, so stay tuned.
International law and international humanitarian law